Hey everyone, in order to complete the exponential functions rent activity, you want to make sure to read through all the directions on this first page. After reading the task, I want you to make sure that you're going step by step through these directions, and I want to guide you through some of these steps by taking a look at this example of some students' work from last year. I purposely adjusted this work to count the percentage of increase in the rent year by year to 4% versus year 3%. So it'll be a small adjustment. So just pay attention to that minor change. So here, this particular group of students chose to rent at a location in Houston, Texas. And they gave us this information about the location that they're renting at. They gave us the address, the rent per month, the initial rent per month, what they found on Zillow. And then they also gave us the number of bedrooms, the number of baths, and the square footage. That's more than enough for the description portion of this assignment. If you wish to include more details in the description, as included on the Zillow website, then you can, but no need to. This is more than enough information. Then select any 6 of the included photos from that post of the listing and go ahead and copy the images. You can do a right click on the images to copy them. Typically, I see students are able to do this on their Chromebook by holding down a click over the image, waiting for the options, the menu option to come up and clicking the word copy image, and then go ahead and come on back to your Google document and paste the image. Be sure to help each other out and help other teams out if they get stuck. Then you want to make sure to link your actual link from Zillow onto your document in the space around this area. So make sure to highlight the words click here on your document. It says it click here versus Zillow link, and then go ahead and use the insert link button right up here and then paste the link from the Zillow website. Once you have that, you're ready to start the actual math calculations. So again, here in this particular task, I adjusted the rent increase per year to 4%. You're looking at 3%. So now this group of students made a note that their initial rent, the first year they're renting, is $1,895 per month. So at this rate, in 1 year, they are going to pay $22,740. Think about, in 1 year, if you're paying $1,895 per month, how would you figure out what that would be altogether in a year? Talk about that with your team and type that number here. Now, you're ready to use your exponential functions equation that I've given you. Here we're using this one here. Y is equal to A, which represents the initial amount or the initial rent the first year around, times 1 plus R, where R is the percentage, the rate percentage, and then to the power of X, where X is the number of years that you've been renting. So now, after 1 year of living in the same place, assuming that the rent is going to increase by the 4%, to calculate the new rent, Y equals 1,895, which again is the initial value, times 1 plus 0.04, because 4% as a decimal, that's 4 divided by 100, is 0.04 or 0.04. Now, to simplify this, go ahead and add the numbers together, and that's what takes you to this next step, 1.04. Now the exponent. The exponent, again, represents the number of years after that initial year. So 1 year later, we want to know what the monthly rent should be. The calculator gives you this value, 1970.8. So 1,970.8. You have to turn that into dollars to the nearest dollar. So how much will you pay in rent per month to the nearest dollar? That 0.8 bumps this up $1. So that would be $1,971 per month. Again, you can write your answer in a sentence in whatever style of writing you use specifically. You'll notice the style of writing of these sentences from this student and this student are slightly different, but they both get the message across to answer the question that's given. Now to calculate the value for the whole year, remember, take that value per month, figure out what do you need to do with that number to figure out how much money you spend altogether in rent for the whole year, and calculate this value here. You'll repeat the process for the 2 years after the initial rent, and then 3 years after the initial rent, and so forth. Again, if you have 3 members, then make sure that you break down the work so that out of the 6 calculations, you each take on 2 calculations. So for example, this could be the work of 1 student here. So I should see in the revision history, 1 student typing in this area. The next one could be the work of another student. I should be able to see that student's name in the revision history. Or this could have all been the work of 1 student, the next section's the work of another student, and so forth. The important thing is you want to make sure everybody in the team had a shot at actually going through the step-by-step process of calculating the rent and also of typing the sentences that tell us the context of the answer of the number. Hey everyone, now I want to guide you through how to create your exponential functions rent graph using Desmos. So head on over to desmos.com, get to the graphing calculator option, and let me use the student work example to guide you step by step how to create this graph. So once you're in Desmos, click here to add an item, click on the plus button, and let's add a table. We'll use the table this time around. Up here we have x1 and y1. We're going to delete this y1, and we're going to type the exponential function equation. Remember, for that particular group of students, they had $1,895 to begin with, parentheses, 1.04, if you recall, that came from the 1 plus 0.04, in parentheses. Now to get your exponent, shift 6, that's that caret symbol, and now we need this typed up there, this x1. That's what represents our exponent here. So we need that extra 1 because it's pulling from this column here, x1. If we wanted to only type an x, we would actually have to delete this little one, but I'm going to leave it as the default, x1. Okay, now that you have your exponential function in here, and notice I did not type y equals here. Only start with the rent value into the percentage value, the rate value inside parentheses, and then that exponent. So now, the moment I start typing numbers for the year, so I want to know what was my initial rent at 0 years, at 1 year, and so forth. The points are going to start popping up on my graph. Okay. Right now we cannot see them on the graph, but they are there. And I'm going to show you how to adjust these settings. So let's go with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Whoa. Make sure we actually scroll down. 10 years. Now, our x values are going to go from 0 to 10. So in the settings, let's adjust the x-axis to 0 to 10. And this is the, what is this? Years. Number of years. And now the rent, it's going to go from, let's go $0. And the highest it gets up to is $2,800. I'm just going to round up to $3,000 so that we can see all the points on our graph. If you want to see even further up, we could technically bump that up to 3,500 if you feel like that gives it a slightly better view, whichever of those helps. So now we can go ahead and close this off. And notice you only have points right now. If you want to see the actual line or curve that goes through those points, you want to go ahead and type that here. Y equals 1,895, 1.04, parentheses, and then again exponent, shift 6 to get that exponent, and we got to do x right here. So now notice that line came up in black, these points are in blue. You can keep them different colors if you really want the same color. Just hold and click here on the color option and select the color if you want those to align. And there's your graph. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this. Make sure to insert this into your Google document and answer the follow-up questions. All right, make sure to help each other out and let me know of any questions that come up.